if you could, you might want to turn on your camera. Right? This is a very exciting time between Arizona and Taiwan. We build up on top, actually I should say, in addition to semiconductor sector. Now we will be focusing on biotech and medical tech sector, because I believe there are a lot of complementary effort and resources to help industry to grow. Yeah. So we are honored to have all the speakers today, and especially like to invite Director Lin of Industrial Development Bureau of Ministry of Economic Affairs to give us opening remarks. Lin 组长, Director Lin. Okay, you need to unmute. Oh, we cannot hear you. 林组长，你那个麦克风。
Okay, thank you.
All right, great. Yeah, we can.
Okay, hello everyone. Ms. Colbert Walker, Mr. Eisminer, and Mr. Google, and Mr. Nigel, and Dr. Lin, and Mr. Wang Zhongqingli, and Jimmy Liang, and ladies and gentlemen, good evening and good morning. I'm Lin from IDB, MOEA, Ministry of Economic Affairs. I'm much pleased to be invited here for the online forum on Taiwan, Arizona, medical technologies and opportunities. This brings me back to the 24th last August, when the MOU on strengthening strategic sector partnership was signed by TUSA and under the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Greater Phoenix Economic Council, GPEC, and now, due to the COVID-19, we are here to virtually hand in hand to enhance collaboration in the medical industry of both sides. Taiwan is renowned for its precision manufacturing capabilities in advanced manufacturing and the semiconductor industry supply chain. Taking the advantage of precision, flexibility, and miniaturization, the government of Taiwan is now turning its sights toward the country's biomedical industry. A long period of investment has produced a solid foundation with an ecosystem that spans the entire biomedical value chain. Arizona's biomedical and health care industry is rapidly growing. According to the Arizona Commerce Authority, the state has created an environment rich in opportunities for discovering, developing, and delivering innovative medicine and medical devices and healthcare technologies. Thanks to AZBio, that Taiwan industries are connected with the thriving cluster to explore more business opportunities and cooperation. Taiwan and Arizona share common business goals based on a firm foundation of similar industries and industrial cooperation MOU in place. As looking forward to more industry cooperation from both sides, I do hope you enjoy an informative forum today, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you. Hi. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Director Lin. And then we'll invite Ms. Joanne Colbert Walker, President CEO of AZBio, to talk about opportunity in the market insight of Arizona's medical industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. That's so kind of you to share some time with us. And Director Lin, thank you for your commitment to the partnership between Arizona, the city of Phoenix, and our partnership with Taiwan. So we are deeply appreciative. I can't begin this presentation without also recognizing Vicki Sun. Vicki has worked tirelessly to organize this program, and Vicki, we are very, very appreciative of all of your hard work. So with that, Vicki and I talked, and I decided I'm not going to do a PowerPoint presentation for you because you're going to hear from some fantastic Arizona companies, and they will be showing you more information on their companies on the screen. My job is to tell you a little bit about what is happening here in Arizona. So Arizona started its focus on the life sciences in 1997, almost 25 years ago. And then AZBio began working with our life science companies in 2008. Over the last 20 to 25 years, depending on how you count it, we have seen tremendous growth in the biosciences, and specifically in our medtech sector, which is our largest employer within the health sciences sector. So Arizona is home to medical device companies like BD or Becton Dickinson, and Medtronic, and Stryker, as well as leading diagnostics companies, including Roche, as well as Castle Biosciences, Caris Life Sciences, and many others. So when we look at where the opportunities lie, interestingly, there are a lot of synergies between what is happening in Taiwan and what is happening in Arizona, where our medical technologies are able to leverage our expertise in software and in silicon technology to then build products and services in the health technologies that can benefit patients. For instance, we have semiconductor companies here that are making the parts for autonomous vehicles, but they're also making the parts for sensors that can be used to track your biometrics so that your doctor can understand what's working and what isn't inside your body. So as we continue to build on this partnership, we want to introduce you to 4 great companies this evening that will give you an idea of, or I'm sorry, 3 great companies this evening that will give you an idea of some of the variety of work that's being done here in Arizona, and also give you an opportunity to look at the opportunities for our companies to leverage the wonderful resources that you have in Taiwan, and for your companies to leverage the wonderful resources and market reach that we have here in Arizona. From Arizona, within an hour or 2 hours by plane or 1 day by car or truck, you can reach 65% of the US population. And so Arizona is a wonderful logistics and supply chain partner, as well as a wonderful technology partner. And with that, Sean, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Wonderful. Yeah, it really helped us to understand the big picture and the capability in Arizona. Thank you very much, John. Next, we'd like to have 3 speakers. Actually, a lot of this innovation, non-drug, pain management. First, from Mr. Tom Eisinger, of Regenesis Biomedical. Tom?
Okay, thanks, Sean. Let me see if I can share this slide here with you.
You have the...
Can you see that?
Yes, we can see that. Thank you.
Yep.
Hold on, let me see if I can put it in. Slideshow mode.
Okay, full screen. Yeah.
Is that working now?
Yeah,
There we
that's
go.
great. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm not challenged like I thought I was. Good morning, as the case may be, in Taiwan. My name is Tom Eisenmenger. I'm with Regenesis Biomedical, and we have a device called Provon Infinity that uses pulsed electromagnetic energy to treat chronic post-procedural pain. If you look at the picture of the device, you've got the purple face on the generator, and that uses a radio frequency 27.12, which is set aside by the Federal Communications Commission for medical use. And it's got a cable that connects it to a treatment pad, and that's the pad that's on the right. You take that pad, you put that pad against where the pain is, you treat twice a day for 30 minutes, and it's a simple touch a start button, stay in position for 30 minutes in the morning, and then repeat at night. So our company was founded by two National Institutes of Health scientists who were looking at soft tissue and what would happen with soft tissue when it was exposed to different settings, pulse width and pulse frequency. We're continuing to do research into the initial research that they did. Right now, we're actually commercialized. The company was founded in 1997, was commercialized a decade later, and we've treated over 2,000 or 20,000 patients in our Veterans Health Administration. So it has a dual field, high energy electromagnetic device. When I say dual field, we not only have an electric component, but we have a magnetic component. And where we're really getting the results is from the magnetic component of the therapy. The patient typically doesn't feel a thing. So we have a 510K clearance from FDA. It's indicated for adjunctive use in the palliative treatment of postoperative pain. I'll talk to you a little bit later about how we intend to expand those claims. Patients treat at home, and as I said, that's the lowest cost settings. And really, it's very easy. They put the pad against their painful area of their body, and they push a start button. They don't have to take off socks. They don't have to take off their pants. It treats through the clothing and the dressings. And it works two ways. One is we know the mechanism of action is it induces endogenous opioids that turn the pain signals off at the nerve endings, and it has an anti-inflammatory effect. So we've looked at numerous markers for inflammation. We know we upregulate anti-inflammatory markers and we downregulate the pro-inflammatory markers. And often the pain is caused because there's pressure on the nerves from the local swelling. We have a lot of case reports, and in a majority of those case reports, we show a reduction in pain medication usage. And as you know, the opioid crisis is real. Opioids work well in the short term, but long term it becomes problematic. And here's an example of that. We looked at rotator cuff patients in a retrospective analysis, and we saw that 31% of the patients on our therapy did not refill their opioid prescription after the first prescription postoperatively, compared to those that were in the control where they were just doing standard of care, which was 14%. So we have done some case series. One we did in the Long Beach VA hospital. We did 43 subjects, and they had an average pain before they started treating of 7.9, or really an 8 out of 10. They did one treatment in the clinic, and it went down to about a 6, a 5.7. After 4 weeks, it went down to about a 5, and after 2 months of treatment, the pain was manageable at a pain score of 3. So we also did a study looking at back pain. And you can see for back pain postoperatively, we had a 40.2% decrease in the active arm in the pain, compared to 25% sham. So there's a real sham effect. It's 25%, but we're at about 40%. And then for the radicular pain, the pain shooting down the leg, we had a 45% decrease, again, compared to about a 25% decrease in sham. The other thing that I might add during that trial is we took blood draws and we looked at hsCRP, which is a marker for systemic inflammation. And in the active arm, we had a 7.1% decrease in hsCRP. And in the sham arm, actually had 191% increase. And that's an inflammatory marker. The other thing we do is we have nurses that call our patients to track and see how they're doing. And what we look at is 74% of patients have a reduction in their pain score over time. And of the patients not reporting a decrease in their pain score, 72% had an improvement in daily activity. So a lot of times, some doctors will say, I don't care about pain scores. I want to know if they can put their socks on. Do they have increased function? And then the other part of function, of course, is sleep. And you've got over 132 days, about a 50% increase in the ability to sleep. So there are some functional improvements in those patients. I'm not going to read these to you, but these are the types of postoperative pain procedures that we have treated. Quite a few different ones. And in summary, I'll say that in the VA, the Veterans Administration hospital system, 50% of male patients present with pain as a complication. So pain is a big issue. And if I look at women in the Veterans Health Administration, it's 75%. So pain is a huge issue. Opioid crisis is a real issue. Our device is safe. About the only side effect that we've heard, and it's about 5% of the cases, is a slight increase in pain for some that have a neuropathic component to their pain. And I would say we have proven clinical outcomes. What I'd like to do now is talk about where we're going in the future. We are going to be an active therapy for the diabetic foot. It's a significant unmet need right now in the US. The prevalence of diabetes is 12%. It's projected to go up to 14% by the end of this decade, and even higher in the coming decades. When you have diabetes, the first thing that presents typically is neuropathy and pain in your extremities. That's neuropathic pain. We are doing a clinical program so we can get an indication for neuropathic pain. The next thing that happens is you develop a pre-ulcerative lesion and then a diabetic foot ulcer. 40% of patients that have a diabetic foot ulcer will have a recurrence of that ulcer within a year. And at 3 years, it's 65%. So that's a huge unmet need, is treating that diabetic foot ulcer or preventing it from happening. Of course, the complications that happen after that are amputation. And once you have an amputation, your life expectancy is 5 years. So again, we do have some experience treating painful diabetic neuropathy. You can see pain scores went from a baseline of 7 down to about a 5. And then when we look at the biopsychosocial measures, activity, mood, sleep, and stress, there were improvements in every one of those components of pain as well. Diabetic ulcers are a $15 billion market within the US. Huge, huge unmet need. And if you look at the current standards of care for neuropathy, medications like Lyrica and Cymbalta are black box drugs, meaning they have significant side effects. TENS, which people tend to get used to, and they plateau. Same across the board, there's really nothing that works extremely well outside of doing limb salvage surgery and offloading, and you have a challenge with non-compliant patients. Our technology will treat throughout that life cycle of the diabetic foot. And why do we believe that? This is a porcine model, a pig study that we did at Mayo. And you can see that our active pulsed electromagnetic energy healed 54% faster than control. And as a side, the veterinarian that was treating these pigs on day 2 said he knew which pig was active because that pig wasn't dancing anymore. The other one was dancing because it still had some pain. This one is a diabetic mouse model, and you can really see it with the pictures here. It was 220% faster healing in a diabetic model. So we do believe that we will have an impact on a diabetic foot, and that for some reason or another, and we're doing the research, we're having a better impact on a diseased foot than we are with a healthy model. And what are your questions, or should we hold those to the end? Hopefully I've stayed within the timeline.
We can have questions. If anybody have question in any kind, technology, market, application. Anyone have that? Oh, well, when you are trying to do that, okay, there's we can mention somebody can either come up with question, or you can type in the chat box. But while you are trying to do that, I would like to ask Tom, in terms of looking for, say, partnership in Taiwan, I would like to put that in 5 areas. If you could, you can maybe tell our participant. First one would be market access. And then second one would be maybe in design optimization or technology development. And the third one would be in manufacture, in partnership. And then the fourth one could be, say, in clinical trial. And the last one would be maybe you're looking for investment partnership.
Okay, I can comment on all of those, and I would say yes.
Great, wonderful. Wow.
I'd say yes to all. One is investment, because we are in the midst of a redesign of our medical device. If we're going to treat diabetic foot, we have to have 2 pads, so we can treat bilateral feet. We're in the midst of that. We believe we'll have that done prior to the end of the year, and submission to FDA for a new 510K clearance, which would include diabetic neuropathy, which will give us greater market access. Of course, to get the perfect market access, we'd have to do some clinical trials, which we have planned with our MAB, but we could always use some help with trial sites to expedite that clinical trial. I've done some analysis, and that looks like it's going to be a fairly large clinical trial with hundreds of patients. So clinical trial assistance would certainly help. We're certainly looking, when we design the new device, which will be sold to the patient, we would be looking for a manufacturer. We have somebody in mind right now, but that doesn't mean we can't look at other manufacturers. And design optimization, we are already looking at the version 1.1, the next view. My viewpoint is we need to be digital. If we're not digital and you can't connect to other digital devices, say a diagnostic as an example, as we move forward, you're going to be behind the power curve. So we're going to be looking at doing some digitization and the ability to connect to other devices, more especially the diagnostic, that can show that while we're treating, you are having a positive outcome in real time that can be fed back to the patient to encourage them to be compliant, and fed back to the clinician so they know that the device is working.
Great. Thank you, Tom. So directly, I have one response come up would be for digitalization. Actually, we have helped a Silicon Valley company. Actually, now they have developed those capabilities in Taiwan, and they are going to pretty much like in IPO stage this year. So I can talk to the company.
Okay.
That would be a good partnership in that, and then we can look for other partnership through TUSA's team and maybe BPIPO team. Yeah. So here, our Director Lin, General Director Lin, Vice President and General Director of Biomedical Engineering Device Lab, Lin Qiwan Lin, has a question on the chat box. His question was, for your active therapy for diabetic foot, for all stage of disease or target for neuropathy pain?
Well, it would start with the neuropathic pain, so it would treat the neuropathic pain. We've got plans to do other studies that are in the wound care space. You saw our pig study and our diabetic mouse study. So we believe that we can show we can help heal that diabetic foot as well. So it would be along the entire continuum of the diabetic foot. It would start with the pain, could potentially treat that pre-ulcerative condition to prevent the ulcer, and then treat the ulcer if in fact an ulcer occurs. So it would be the entire life cycle of the diabetic foot.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
So any other question?
Yeah, I'm very interested in your devices that for the pain treatment. In the past, my laboratory back in National Taiwan University have developed implanted pulse radio frequency pain control devices, and currently in the stages of a human clinical trial in Taiwan, and also scheduled for human trial in the States right now. And so I'm very interested in working together with you. And actually, I invite my students' company to join. And I send them your informations, and to maybe they would contact you later and for further cooperation. Yes,
Certainly.
yes.
All right. Any other question? I thought some hands were raised.
Hello, Sean.
Jimmy.
Hello. Yeah, I've got a question regarding the technology which just be presented. What if the ulcer or the pain happens on my shoulder here? Now the shoulder isn't flat, so but the pad itself is flat. How do you? Is there going to be any extra peripheral to help out the existing device to be conformed to my geometry of my shoulders, or maybe in the neck? Yeah.
Yes, that and neck, knee, any body part, especially the joints. We do have a patent for a moldable solution, but that is not part of the early stage. The plan right now is to get the diabetic neuropathic indication, and then on the 1.1, when we digitize, we'll work on the therapy pad to be moldable.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you.
Quite welcome.
Yeah, because actually, just for your information, in the current Taiwanese market, there are products from Japan, maybe not directly used for physical therapy, but they are little magnets that you can stick onto your shoulders and necks, and that kind of alleviate the pain. But I'm
challenge.
Sure.
I'm sorry. The challenge that we have when you do a so it's moldable, is if I'll use my hands, is when you take the energy and it crosses, it cancels itself out.
Oh,
We do have an engineering solution for that we have a patent for, but that's probably a year and a half out before we start developing that.
see. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
Right,
Thank you.
welcome.
So we will have TUSA and the BP IPO to follow up with those area and see we can build up the partnership. Thank you very much, Tom. Next, we'll invite Mr. Navi Google, CEO and the founder of Yektasonics, to share about powering non-invasive medicine technology. And Navi?
Thank you. Yes, thank you for the session. Let me share my slides here. Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks everyone for this morning in Taiwan and evening in US. We are Yektasonics and we power non-invasive medicine. It's a story of focused ultrasound where they use harmless sound waves for treatment. It's a revolutionary non-invasive therapy which replaces traditional invasive surgery. And basically, what we develop at Yektasonics is a technology, the phase array technology that focuses the energy in the body. This is a driving system for transducers, a sophisticated electronic system that we develop. And our advantage is we are highly cost effective compared to the other devices in the market, and we have a unique performance that I will talk later. Focused ultrasound or FEOS applications is in whole medicine. For example, in case of cancer treatment, they use these sound waves to ablate or remove tumor cells with no chemotherapy or surgery. There's a trend to use these sound waves for neuron modulation for neurological and psychiatric conditions without removing the skull, in contrast to deep brain stimulator implanting surgery, which is extremely invasive and dangerous. There is over 150 conditions that currently uses focused ultrasound, and this number is 4 times increased in the past 4 years. It's fast growing. It's in a neurosurgery, gynecology is all over the place in medicine. The problem, as I said, is this phase array that focus the energy in the body is very expensive. Cost per channel is actually very high. And they usually suffer from low performance of these tri-state pulses at the bottom of the picture, which has some problem. For example, it corrupts MRI images in MR guided high intensity focused ultrasound. It's a surgery treatment using focused ultrasound, and it results in heating and damaging transducers and some unwanted EMC radiations. Our technology is highly cost effective. We reduce the cost per channel by 10 to 20 times. For example, for 256 channel, we propose $10,000 only for 256 channel, and the price scales for higher and lower channel counts. And we produce this pure sine harmonic free output at our output, which results in MRI compatibility, less heating and damaging transducer, no EMC variation, and also our novel RF technology remove the requirement to have a matching network, which is another huge advantage when we talk to focused ultrasound and medical device companies. Our technology is programmable analog beamformer, where the patent actually was recently awarded. Therapeutic market, as you know better, is substantial. 1 year in USA, brain conditions cost $1 trillion. And there is 30 neurological and psychiatric conditions that uses focused ultrasound. And the focused ultrasound is not just limited to brain or cancer, it's in the whole medicine. And our technology is a core building block in all of these medical devices. Once they switch to our technology, FEOS market is fast growing, it becomes 5 times larger in 5 years from now. And some of these focused ultrasound companies on the right hand side have shown interest to our technology, mainly due to our price advantage and also our unique performance. In competitive landscape, no one can compete with our price. We are 10-20 times lower cost per channel, and we come with all these performance advantages. in compared to other phase arrays solutions out there in the market. We basically want to deliver these phase arrays as an OEM to medical device companies and maybe some non-medical companies. There are some other applications of focused ultrasound in non-medicine, like non-destructive testing, and also direct sale to some research labs for their future medical devices. It's been a long journey. We started 7 years ago, actually, at University of California, Berkeley, and we've gone through and we developed the core building block technology, the 4-channel technology, which is scalable to higher channel counts, and we have traction in the industry and academia. The team is basically best of the best in industry and academia. I was a chip designer in Silicon Valley at AMD and Sun. We have actually on the call Professor Weiberg. He's a UCLA emeritus professor here at the University of California, and we have Dr. Manbach at Johns Hopkins Medicine as our advisor team, and Professor Nick Najar at University of California, Berkeley. And we have the best talent like Balaram. He is a theoretic PhD. In financial, focused ultrasound market is not large as of now, but the cost to produce 256 channel is around $5,000 as of now, and we have an aggressive plan of bringing it lower to $1,000. So, but selling $10,000 for 256 channel, and if we sell 1 million units in future, we will have over $8 billion profit. But focused ultrasound as of now is not large. It is growing and expanding, and FDA approvals are coming, but we have a bright future, we believe. And that pretty much is about my presentation. Happy to take questions.
Thank you very much, Naveed.
Yeah.
Any question from our participant, from our friend? This could be one of the domain expertise of our General Director Lin Jiwan.
Yes, thank you, Naveed, for your sharing. We do have a small teams within ITRI to develop ultrasound system, including imaging and therapeutics use of the high power ultrasound. And right now we also have IC available for the parsers and the ADC, and very interesting in your digital analog implementations of the beamformings. Right now we're using digital part to do the beamforming, and I think as you mentioned in the slides that it would facilitate the power reductions of the and the transducers use. And so we one of my team, Kevin, is online. He will contact you to further discuss about how to cooperate with your technologies in our devices development right now. And in Taiwan, we do have some ICT company. Right now they develop some prototypes of the C-mount transducers and in large arrays format. And I think your IC availables for those applications would be fantastic to put together all the efforts in this area. So I would ask my team, my colleagues, Kevin, to maybe ask some questions or share his point of view. Kevin.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, great, thank you. Any other question? My understanding there are a number, well, maybe at least I would say maybe a 2 or more of ultrasound developer in Taiwan, and because most of them are doing OEM, so that is something also maybe a way to engage through them to the brand medical device company. Yeah, that's other way. But if there's no other question, I would like to also ask Navid about those 5 questions. First will be your partnership in Taiwan. Are you looking for market access? Apparently, this is one, right? And then design optimization or technology development, as Chi-Wan mentioned, that could be one. And then the third one will be manufacturer, and the fourth one will be clinical trial, because maybe this one is a different consideration. And then the last one will be the investment partnership.
Yeah, again, in all of them, we are interested. Actually, currently we work with China, but yeah, definitely, if we can have that type of collaboration, both in manufacturing and investing and clinical trial and other points that you mentioned, yes, definitely, as long as it is mutually beneficial, yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we have our team, TUSA and the BBIBO, to follow up with you.
Sean, I've got
Jimmy.
Yeah, I just got the questions. Thank you. So you mentioned there were several facets of activity that you will be pleased to see happening in Taiwan, be it the supply chains and the fund investment and so on. What would be the priority for your company to do in Taiwan if we were to offer help? By the way, online today we have I have invited some of my friends from ICT, like Su Wei Chen, who is an expert in ICT integrations. He's not currently in the bio industry, but he's definitely a very good integrator as far as ICT is concerned. And so I'm just wondering if finding a supply chain and building up a preliminary pilot runs is one of your priority in Taiwan, or
Yes, we get the parts in USA, but we do manufacturing in China. But yeah, if we can have a good solution in Taiwan, that's definitely helpful. Also, investing and some supporting clinical trial and help to bring this technology to market. That is basically the priority that I think helped the company a lot.
Yeah, because the global trend is actually changing, and we have Taiwan is going a lot with the so-called blue supply chains, and like previously we have an example from Michigan, an EV company who comes to Taiwan to joint venture with a local company, and what they do is that they get $1 billion dollar JP Morgan's back and join with find a strategic partnership in Taiwan. And this partnership will be doing the assembly of the EV, but they will also be the exclusive distributor of the Southeastern Asia. So this kind of joint venture could be a very good models that we could possibly consider. Yeah, and that Michigan company is currently already mass production in US with the supply chain of Taiwan on their cars, and also this company which is in Taiwan is working on to become their Southeastern distributors while also building the assembly factories.
Yeah. Yes.
Just for your reference. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah. Okay, Sean. Okay, from me.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. So any other question from our friends? All right. If not, then we will have TUSA and the BBIBO to follow up with all this opportunity. Next, we will invite Mr. Michael Gale, President CEO of Vomaris Innovations, talk about revolutionary bioelectric wound care technology. This is also wonderful. Michael?
Okay, everyone, see that okay? Okay, well, good morning to the Taiwan team, and thank you for allowing me to present. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Vomaris Innovations. We are located in Tempe, Arizona, and I've been president and CEO for 10 years. So it's a pleasure today to tell you about the future of wound healing and infection control is electric. And I'd like to explain how we use electricity to achieve that. So first of all, effective wound management remains a universal challenge in wound care. And we find that over 1.5 million patients in the US every year have prevented surgical site infections. 6.7 million patients are treated for chronic wounds every year. And 78% of those infected wounds contain bacterial biofilm, which delays healing and blocks immune response. So these problems are very costly, both in terms of dollars, but also in human suffering. The advanced wound care market is substantial. The wound care market is $12 billion globally. And if you look at the last 4 graphs there on the right that are in purple, those are the different markets that Vomaris can presently compete in with this product. So we have a substantial market opportunity. So there are 2 things that wound management problems industry have yet to overcome. First is the use of cytotoxic silver ions, which I'll talk about a little bit. And the next is prevention and disruption of a bacterial biofilm. So why are clinicians seeking an alternative to ionic silver? First of all, high volume cyanic is released and widely recognized as cytotoxic. Secondly, silver alone is not suitable for the treatment of a biofilm infection. And third, there's a growing concern in the world over bacterial resistance to silver. If you look at the graph on the right, it shows the cytotoxic level of all the leading silver dressings. And you look at the Vomaris bioelectric technology on the far right, and we're able to kill microbes without a silver release of ions. So first of all, let me explain a biofilm and why it's increasingly recognized to inhibit wound healing. First of all, biofilm is a protective shield, and they protect themselves against antibiotics in the immune system. That's why people become antibiotic resistant when they get an infection. And bacterial and biofilm is 1,000 times more resistant to antibiotic. So it really creates a big issue for the clinician. And it can lock wounds in a chronic inflammatory state forever, indefinitely. So it's a big problem right now globally. So what is Vomaris doing to solve these challenges? We are using electricity to support advanced wound healing and tackle biofilm, all without the use of high volume silver or release of any additional added chemicals. So we have one of a kind technology in that the fact that it's elegantly simple, but its underlying principles are quite immense. But we have microcell batteries. When we have a matrix of embedded microcell batteries in our fabric. And when they generate electricity, when you add a conductive medium in the middle, that conductive medium can be hydrogel, it can be wound exudate, or it can just be normal saline. And we take a battery and you add a conductive saline, a conductive medium, you get electricity. It's that simple. So we say that VDOX technology is foundationally inspired by the body. It's a very natural process. So if you look on the far left and you see intact skin, we do know from literature is that electrical fields exist naturally in the skin. And that's created a surface potential called transepithelial potential, or TEP. And when your skin is wounded, either through a diabetic foot ulcer or surgical incision, there's a change in electric potential. So the electric field lines in your skin reorientate themselves towards the wound. And that's known as the current of injury. And through those currents, there are many things that our bodies drive, growth factors, healing, all sorts of things that help our wound heal. And so if you look at the far right, what does VDOX technology do? We mimic the skin's current of injury, which is about 2 to 10 microamperes. And we support the skin's natural healing process across the entire wound surface with our battery microcell technology. So we do 3 things. We accelerate cell migration and reepithelialization. We have a robust antimicrobial impact, and we can prevent and disrupt biofilm. So what does this all look like when we talk about it theoretically? Is improved healing looks like the following. This was a randomized study that was done with our product. On the left, you'll see after 1 week in a burn graft donor study, the control side had 47% reepithelialization. Our side on the right had 72% reepithelialization. So that was 53% faster healing at 1 week versus the standard of care. Here's what eradicated biofilm looks like. These results were published in the Annals of Surgery, which is a very high impact score journal, which said that we prevented and disrupted biofilm from forming. So if you look on the far right, you can tell versus a placebo, you can tell when biofilm infection is treated with Vidox technology, you can see the darkness of the absence of biofilm compared with Pseudomonas and Acetobacter, which are bacteria strains which are very prevalent on almost every surgical wound that's not healing. So we have a very high growing base of clinical support. We have 26 peer-reviewed publications, and we have 4 randomized trials right now in various forms of completion. First of all, our burn study with the Department of Defense, United States Army, has been completed, and the manuscript is being submitted for publication. An abstract is being submitted this week, or being presented this week, at the Society of Advanced Wound Care here in Phoenix. And that will show that compared to the standard of care, Vidox technology lowered the biofilm statistically significant at 1 week compared to the standard of care in military wounds military people that suffered burns. Our University of Michigan study was just accepted for publication to a skeletal journal, and that showed that use of our product prior to surgery and after cleansed the wounds statistically significant compared to chlorhexidine. And we have at University of Miami an ongoing study for a skin condition called hidradenitis suppurativa, which is a skin condition where it affects 1 to 3% of the population globally, mostly female, of where people break out in lesions that are very painful and problematic. And we're halfway through our study enrolling there. And then we also have another Department of Defense study with Indiana University, a $1.9 million Department of Defense grant, and that is currently enrolling right now. So to talk about our product portfolio right now, we have a fully cleared, FDA cleared product portfolio. We're also available in 11 countries. We can address chronic wounds, acute wounds with our surgical wounds. We can address orthopedic wounds and also surgical incisions, all with various sizes and shapes and formats of Vidox technology. We have a very experienced management team. Myself has been with Vomaris for 10 years. Mary Meyer, our Chief Commercial Officer, has been with us for 8 years, comes from some big companies. And Michel Tanguay is our Chief Financial Officer and Head of Operations. He's also been with Vomaris for 8 years. We have a very distinguished and deeply experienced Vomaris Board of Directors. We are funded and wholly owned by Franklin Mountain Capital, which is a family office located here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Paul Foster is our chairman of the board, and he is supported by 2 of his long-term business partners. We also have Dr. Robert Robbins, who is the current president of the University of Arizona on our board, and of course, myself. So the highlights about our technology is we have an unparalleled and expensive technology. We're the only company in the world that produces embedded microcell batteries. We've demonstrated robust antibacterial, antibiofilm, and antifungal impact. We have broad indications for use for both over-the-counter and prescriptions use. We have over 39 patents issued, 33 pending. As I said, we have 24, now 26 peer-reviewed publications. Our number now is closer to 1 million devices sold to date, and we are commercially available in 11 countries outside the United States. We have both FDA, and we are also a company that's called MDSAP, that stands for Medical Device Single Audit Program with the FDA and our notified body. And we have validated and rapidly scalable manufacturing. We produced several million square centimeters of product to date. We have ISO 13485, and we also have a Class 8 clean room. So that's a little bit in a quick nutshell about Vomaris Innovations.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, you bet.
And any question from the friend?
Yeah. Hello, this is Jimmy. I kind of missed part of the PPT just now, so just for Mike a question. You mentioned that as far as wound is concerned, the electric field has to go parallel or vertical to the wound areas in order for the cytal activity to go on. There's no sound, Mike.
Oh, Mike, Mike.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Jimmy, you would place the batteries dots down onto the wound surface. So the microcell batteries are directly onto the wound.
Okay. So never mind what geometry of the wound cut could be.
That's right. No matter what. So if it's a deeper wound, you'll just insert the product deeper into the wound so that the microcell batteries are touching the wound surface.
So the electric field would be something like this, a curvature.
Well, yeah, the electrical field, we know from our research and literature, it extends 1 to 4 millimeters from the surface of our dressing.
And then it will be a curvature of some sort. Yeah.
That's correct, because we have a zinc and silver, so it's like a circular pattern.
Oh, right. Okay. It's really interesting that today we have seen several technology all very much to do with fields of magnetic or electric energies. That's quite interesting. Correct. Yeah. Another question, maybe not directly linking to your technology, is what we've seen here in Taiwan. There are lots of Japanese technology. As I mentioned, there are magnetic little pads that allows you to, attach to your shoulders. There are also chains.
Yeah.
Are these? How do you view these products? I mean, not to comment on any particular product, but just the scientific base behind them, or anything that your technology add more strength to them.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about those products because they have such a different use. I mean, we're FDA cleared, 510K class 2 medical device for open wound use. So I'm not sure, the magnetic therapy for other things. I'm not sure, what they do or don't do. So it'd be hard to really comment. They're just such different use products.
Right. Okay. We have John. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to address that question, one of the challenges when we're looking at topical applications of magnets like you're talking about, without control. So one of the things that's very important is for the physician to be able to direct the level of care that a patient needs. And so when you have products like you described where, the patient's buying the magnets and they're placing, but they're not necessarily, finely controlled, or the frequency is not finely controlled, those are issues that would be of concern potentially to a physician or could impact the quality of care for the patient. In addition to that, when we look at the variety of those products that are available, right? I know here in the United States, I can open a golf magazine and it says, buy my magnets to fix your rotator cuff.
Oh, yeah, that's
right. We've all seen.
Yeah, that's what we have here. Yeah.
Right, but but when we talk about true concerns relative to surgical wounds, disease-related wounds like we've seen with diabetic foot, which is a result of neuropathy, but also post-surgical treatment of pain, like what Tom is talking about, where the healing process itself causes inflammation, which causes pressure on the nerves, which causes pain, right? So as we start to look at the various ways that patients are dealing with this problem, looking at a true medically approved, tested, verified, and controllable product, as opposed to some of these over-the-counter products that are great. You know, I fell down and I tweaked my shoulder, okay? And it's not severe pain, it's just annoying, okay? That might help, you know, if there was something just simple and topical. But when I've had knee surgery and the pain is so excruciating that it's waking me up in the middle of the night and I can't sleep, that's when we need much more advanced technologies like the ones that we're talking about here. Does that help?
Joan, if I could comment, I know we've done research trying to optimize our therapy, and we actually did a study where we changed the pulse width by or the pulse duration by 4 microseconds, and it was no better than placebo. So when you're using energy-based medications or therapies, there is in fact a sweet spot, and energetics do matter.
Great point, Tom. I mean, our product is designed to mimic the body's current of injury, which we know from literature is about 2 to 10 microamperes. We know that if you try to increase that, the cell's impedance will not accept that, and the product will work negatively. So there's like Tom points out, for every different indication, these products have very narrow ranges of how they work if they're delivered very precisely in a medical device fashion. And that's what I think ours is. So I think that as far as that and the magnets go, it's just a different apples and oranges type comparison.
And if I can offer an unsolicited comment for the VDOX technology, I've been a user of that for the last year and a half. I've been wearing the mask. I flew 100,000 miles last year, and there's a mask that's made out of the VDOX technology. And I can tell you, after 100,000 miles, I never got COVID. I don't know if it's related, but it's anecdotal. I'll share that.
I'll thank you, Tom. I'll take it. But
I believe it.
One of the benefits that we found during COVID of electricity, of electrical field, as we found that could deactivate a virus as well as bacteria. So that was a discovery that we made during COVID. So Tom, thank you for.
In fact, I wore it this morning on a flight from Portland, Oregon.
Good. Well, come on over, and I'll give you some no charge ones. I appreciate your plug for us.
You betcha.
Yes.
And then
go ahead. Yes. Thank you, Tom. Mike, sorry. Yeah, it's very interesting to learn VDOS technologies that especially target on the biofilms issues of the wound healing. And I'm wondering, will these technologies good for the both the gram-positive and gram-negative bacterial infections, or you have tested some of the Pseudomonas and others? Yes.
Yeah, so the FDA, for us to be granted a status, which we are, called antimicrobial, there are gram-positive and gram-negative strains that you must test and submit that to the agency. As well as, I should mention, we're hoping to be approved in Taiwan within the next coming weeks. And we'll be approved as a bioelectric technology. We have a distributor over there named Evergreen that's been submitting and working with us very well for the last couple of years. So we hope to be in the Taiwanese market here in the second quarter. So we're excited about that.
Oh yes, great. Yes. And second question is on top or beneath of the VDOT technologies, that the substrates that directly contact with the wounds, will that be also key factors to affect the efficacies of the wound healing?
Not really. We have it applied. You can buy it attached to 3M Tegaderm, or there are other adhesives, or you can apply your own. But you just want to make sure wherever the wounded area is, you want to make sure that you have the batteries from our product on that wounded area and a little bit extended over to the edges.
So it's on top of the Tegaderms or beneath of Tegaderm, directly in contact with the wound? No. Okay.
Our product is in direct contact with a wound. The Tegaderm is on top of our product.
Oh, all right. Okay, great. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Yeah, my teams in BTL also developed some of the hydrogels biofilms for the wound healings, and would be really interesting to see opportunity that can cooperate that with your BDOTs later. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. We sell it now with just a amorphous hydrogel that kind of activates the batteries, and that's it. But we sell that now, and that will be available in Taiwan as well.
All right, great, thank you.
So to answer the questions about our involvement with this great relationship that we have with the Taiwan, we hope to enter the market. I'm sure our distributor will be working with us on some clinical trials potentially over there. We have great interest in semiconductors and furthering our products. So I know we've had some calls already, Joan. So we're really excited about that. And we've got some product on the way to the ITRI lab over in Taiwan, and we've got some interesting discussions that we hope they'll go forward with some microchips. So we're excited about that.
All right, great, thank you.
Okay, so any other questions? Or Mike, you mentioned about some of the partnership you are looking for. Is there anything? I understand you have a wonderful team, a great CMO, and maybe no short of investment interest, I believe. Yeah. So you mentioned about clinical trial. Anything else? You looking for?
I'm sure with our distributor and maybe your help, we'll be designing some clinical trials over in Taiwan. Absolutely, we know that after we get approval, and we're extremely interested. And like I said, we've already had some preliminary talks. We're super interested in exploring some microchip partnerships in conjunction with the use of our product, and using AI to construct a potential smart solution product attached to ours. So I'm really looking forward to furthering that discussion with Jimmy and ATRI and all the rest.
All right.
Yeah. It shows that they are such a capability over there. Yeah.
We have with the background in Taiwan Semiconductor, I couldn't think of a better potential partner to discuss those options with.
Thank you. So we have a question from CT.
Another question, yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Mike, for sharing this great technology. And we are HAPC MedTech in Taiwan for a long-term care facility device distributor. And we are quite interested into your products. And there's one question is about registration. So is that Evergreen Partner is helping you for this registration documents and process already?
Yeah, we're already we're in final discussions with the Taiwan Ministry of Health for final approval. So we hope that we're sending some final documents over and whatnot. So we hope, I'd hope to be actually approved by the time of this call, but it may be any day now in April that we get approval.
Cool. Congratulations. Then
thank you.
We may support following if you need PI and for the research or sales channels, and we can do some help.
Yep, that would be awesome if you want to send me an email, and we'll chat as we find out we get approval, because wound care is a very big market.
Yes, great. Thank you for sharing. Otherwise,
thank you.
We are always using a very traditional way for the wound care, and like mattress and so on. Yeah, it's just some facility devices, assistive care.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Curiosity. Yeah. Do you want one more question?
Yes, my team has set up meeting with Mike last week, I think. Yeah, we have good discussions about potential topics for cooperation. Looking forward to further discussions down the road. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, anyone else? No, thank you very much, Mike. So we would like to ask Dr. Lin Chi-Wan to share about the ITRI's capability, especially in biomedical engineering and device, also advantage of Taiwan's medical supply chain.
All right. Yes. Thank you, Sean. And everyone, can you see my slides?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, I'll put up the whole screen. Let's see. All right. Yeah. Thanks for invitations and arrangement organizations by Sean and TUSA and Arizona Biotech. It's my great pleasure and honor to present on behalf of ITRI and especially with the biomedical sectors of the ITRI. My name is Chi Wan. I am also a faculty member in National Taiwan University before I joined ITRI 5 years ago. And my talks will have two parts. One, briefly introductions of the biotech ecosystems in Taiwan. And the second part would be some of the developments within the medical technology sections in ITRI for you to get to know us a little bit. And Taiwan biotech industrial and especially with the national health insurance systems has been well known. And last year in the 2020s, biotech technology due to the COVID-19's impact actually has growth in the revenues in terms of the medical devices and health and applied biotechnology side. And our national health insurance systems cover 99.7% of the citizens, and with well-known hospitals and JCI accredited hospitals. And so we have a lot of multinational clinical practice and clinical trial ongoing in Taiwan, and the number is increased recently. And also recently government has put in efforts to accumulate some of this available data for the research communities as a national health insurance research database, including 30 biobanks and also genomics database and imaging database for the AI research. And in terms of the ecosystem across Taiwan, we have high-speed railway to travel from north to south in about 90 minutes. And start from north, we have medical electronics clusters in near Taipei City. And in the Hsinchu area, which used to known for its ICT campus, scientific campus, now transformed into the high-level medical devices R&D cluster nearby. ITRI is in this area, and which we have several national research institute in these regions, and also research university, 7 universities for the talents in the nearby. And recently, government also invest a lot of the new hospital in this area, including one of the branch hospital from national Taiwan universities in these regions. And down south in Taiwan, we have areas for the minimum invasive medical assisted devices and dental and bone implant for the medical materials in different sectors of the Taiwan. And so it will be come to Taiwan with the full supply chains nearby in 90 minutes. And ITRI, is a non-profit research organization sponsored by Ministry of Economic Affairs. As I mentioned, our headquarters is located in the Hsinchu, which now transformed from ICT cluster into the biomedical clusters in these regions. And we currently have about 6,000 staff. We do industrial service. We do have internal spin-off as a startup, and also help to incubate new technology companies within. And so we also have several global offices across the continent, including Sean's leading one in the Bay Area. And within BDL, we have about 400 staff, about 2/3 of them with a PhD and master degree. We fusion of interdisciplinary technology to foster high value added biomedical industrial in Taiwan is our mission. And we have several research groups. One particular related to today's is the bio ITs for the medical electronic equipments. But we also mentions that we have regenerative medicines to cover some of cell therapies and implanted medical devices, and also have IVD divisions target on the diagnosis and precision medicines. And two other related to the drug development. One is from the botanics, and the other one is small molecules with target delivery technologies focus. And what we have done in the past with the help from the Minister of Economic Affairs is to not only to set up the facilities that comply with the international medical regulations, the standard for GMP, cell GTPs, and but also to capture the talents to help with the regulations, qualities, and clinical trials. And typically, we work through the in medical device life cycles up to the IDE, investigational device exemptions stage, and then licensed to the local companies or global partners. And they carry toward the PMA and NDA eventually. And we also have some co-creation space and act as an open platform for biotech communities in the Hsinchu campus. One is target for the long-term care for the smart healthcare platform, and the other one is target for the medical tech platform we call the TIPIC, and many working on the digital usabilities of the device interactions in the hospital or in the surgical wards for the human factors evaluations. In this site, we also work with AstraZeneca on the topic called the Future Medical Research Lab for the patient journey technology integrations on-site for the cooperations with the local community. And within the BDL, give you some examples and what we have done and we are working on right now. During the pandemic period, many centers and laboratory in the ITRI come up with different technologies to help combat with the COVID. For example, the production lines of the mask, and for the PPE, and thermal imaging with the AI for the monitoring, active monitoring with a high throughput, and smart home care for the HPPs for the intuitive and security and privacies of the patient locations, and remote monitoring in the hospital wards for the quarantine patients. Within BDL, we actually have two products that approved by the EUA emergency authorization use during the period last year. One is the molecular testing devices called the IPMX for the molecular testings, which has been approved both by the TFDA in Taiwan and JBP or MMPA in the Japan market. And we also have an emergency approval of a mechanical ventilator which is available through the open license with the Medtronics for the market use. And the reason that I come up with this, prepare for this, is that within ITRI, with the quality systems available on site, that we were able to quickly assemble the prototype and testing with the preclinical validations and clinical validations to obtain the EUA approval in 3 months. So we get the TFDA approval on 2020's July, and then start to working toward the Japan markets and other market in Southeast Asia, but also in Taiwan, along with the ecosystems, supply chains within Taiwan to help with the parts and also the key components of the testing kits. And same thing is in this open ventilators project available from Medtronics, based on their product type PB560. We review the key components for the products that we call the IB17 prototype with ISO 13485 compliance within 3 months, and then start working with our local supplier chains to work on different different markets as well. And we also have the develop of radio frequency ablation technology called IF for the cancer therapy, liver cancers, and this thing's 100% with a local supply of the parts, and now has licensed to the local companies, and they have built their first prototype in 6 months with the technology transfer from ITRI. So just to highlight some of the internal capabilities and available for the partnerships. And we recently working on implantable electrical stimulations for tremors for different stimulations, and particularly focusing on the directional electrode stimulations, and also the anti-fouling technology for long-term implanted devices that with anti-hearing, and also the anti-impedance increasing due to the fouling technologies. And we can help with the animal preclinical validations, verifications with the animal models available for the tremors, for the Parkinson's disease, and other brain or neuropathic pains models available. And of course, we also build with other the implant IPGs, and also the external control devices for the to facilitate the animal studies, and also in the future for the human studies. And for the ultrasound area, we have built several prototypes of the wireless mobile ultrasound, and target for telemedicines, equipped with the IMU for the AI imaging alignments, and target for the greater volumes estimations, and soft tissue or muscle tissues estimations with our devices. And we, as I mentioned, that we use FPGA to form the digital patterning. And however, we do have in-house designs of the parsers and the ADCs to further reduce of the chipsets. And we're looking forward to cooperations with our teams, and just now the beamforming chips. And in the regenerative medicines area, that we do have wound healing capabilities with this cell source of the fibroblast and packed into the bioink, I'm sorry. And this has been approved for the IND applications, and the material has been received approval for the material master file. And we also designed for the bioprinting devices that allow us to fabricate biopatch in the full thickness of the dermal patch. And this is temperature controls to form about 1 inch in diameters, and we are very interested in integrate some of the further therapeutic agents and also the sensing technologies together with Mike just now. And with that, I would finish my presentations and welcome your comments and suggestions for further discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jiwan. Any question from Arizona side or Taiwan side? Or comment?
Thank you, Jiwan. That was terrific. One of the things that we have had conversations about and is always of interest to our small companies is when joint ventures are developed between an Arizona and a Taiwan company. What are some of the incentives or support programs that can be provided to help build that joint venture?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for the good questions. That actually I do prepare 2 slides in the back to answer this question. Allow me to show my quick slides again. Yes. To answer your questions, that actually governments has been actively promote some of the regulations issues to relieve some of the regulation issues, and also come up with new tax schemes for incentive, and also to attract global talents. And in terms of the companies or the industrial that, however, this is, I think, is only valid mostly for the company registered in Taiwan side. So if you have a joint ventures in Taiwan, then the teams can gain some of the financial support in terms of the technology, novel technologies implant or testing in Taiwan, and that cover from the innovative technology development to the prototype productions, and also to the clinical trials in Taiwan. So if you have the registered company or partners in Taiwan, most likely they will be eligible for this kind of R&D subsidiary, and also to facilitate the international cooperations. We have, as mentioned, the science or industrial parks that set up special free trade loans to go to the external markets. That so this briefly shows that our governments recently put up a lot of effort to provide more incentive in the development of biotechnology, including medical devices, as a designate targets for the promotions. So for more details, that we can send you more information through TUSA about this cooperations or funding schemes to the teams that you mentioned. I hope this answer your questions.
It does. Thank you.
Hello, this is Jimmy. Just add some more information to Dr. Lin's presentation on the incentive, because I used to work in the governments in the DOIT, especially just out of the incentive. That if you guys look at the R&D subsidies, there's something called A+ Industrial Innovative R&D programs, and these programs actually, if you are the registered company, like joint ventures, then you are eligible to apply for the A+ Industrial Innovation R&D program. And what government does is that it will subsidize 60% of your R&D spending, and it will be very, very useful. But this is specific for Taiwanese company or registered company. But for a foreign company without registrations, there's something called Big A+, but that's something more. That's like Micron from Idaho. If you actually come to Taiwan to set up a plan, increase the employment and so on, and that's something different. That's only specifically for multinational, not registered in Taiwan. But generally, we most of the pool are within this A+ Industrial Innovation R&D program, and Dr. Lin's group and can help you a lot. Yeah, once once there's cooperation of JV established. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Jamie, another question. Let's talk about distribution and supply chain. So Taiwan is a very special market in and of itself, but it is also a gateway market into the rest of Southeast Asia. Mm-hmm. So can you talk a little bit about how companies that are partnering in Taiwan, how they have strategically then moved into other Southeast Asian markets using Taiwan as their base?
Yes, I would briefly answer this question. Maybe Jimmy can add on to that later. As I mentioned, that it's part of the effort that governments now try to promote biotech as industrial policies, development policies. So many ICT OEM companies in the past, now they all set up with the ISO 1384, 845 GMP facilities to engage in the medical devices for productions, and so they can add as your partners for the system integrations, and through their contact, they would have different supply chains to facilitate the development of the productions. And so I think Taiwan also have very strong in the fine machineries and plastic mold injections technologies available in different parts of Taiwan, in central and in south, for especially south for metal parts, and central parts of Taiwan for the plastic mold injections. And so that it within 90 minutes traveling, that you would be able to access all this resource together. But as I mentioned, that those system integrators in Taiwan, they will be interesting to work with the partners from this meetings or others for the development of medical devices. And together, after getting the approval from FDA or CE mark, they can typically go to Southeast Asia, and with some of the efforts that I mentioned in the molecular testing kits that we work with the partners in Japan for the PMDA's approval. And so that different partners, that partnerships strategies will facilitate the entrance of the markets in different regions of the market. That I think it will be available for the assessments quite easily. So I think I hope that BPIPO or the TUSAs can provide you more information. And if not, we will be also glad to be partnerships with the new startups come to Taiwan and help with the, as I mentioned, our facilities for the first prototypings and then connect it to those system integrators for the mass production as well. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. And Sean, I think it's important for the many people from Taiwan who have joined us on this call to possibly talk a little bit about some of the opportunities for them to work with us in Arizona on different areas. So one that is very important, because it's a question that I get from almost every international company, is how can I get through the FDA? How can I do my clinical trials in the United States?
Yes.
And so I think that is a very important discussion. Just the US FDA, our clinical trials process, one of the things that is extremely important in that process is diversity within the clinical trials. So recently there was a big issue because people were doing clinical trials on the mainland, and those clinical trials got thrown out because there was not enough diversity in the patient population. And that is a challenge that we have, in many countries around the world. So Arizona has a very diverse patient population, and so it is very, very good for clinical trial sites. And that is something that I think we should be exploring to help our Taiwanese partners look at how they can bring those products forward quicker. The other, and this is something that we would love to see in Arizona, there are certain customers that cannot use product that is manufactured outside of the United States.
That's right.
Some of the examples of that are our veteran systems and our hospitals and our military systems. And so just as we now have the largest contract manufacturing company in the world building a semiconductor facility in Arizona, we would love to explore opportunities with ITRI or others in Taiwan to look at how we can leverage contract medical device manufacturing here in Arizona that could then support the Western United States. So I think that as we continue to build these partnerships, there are resources that each of us has that we want to be able to leverage. That's why we signed the MOU in the first place.
Yes.
To strengthen the opportunity of our companies and your companies to succeed on a global basis. So we are truly appreciative of everyone's time and support in this initiative.
Thank you, John. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, turn on your mic.
I want to say, unfortunately, I've got a industry dinner tonight as part of the Society for Advanced Wound Care that's here in Arizona this week. So I've got to run to a dinner. So I apologize with one of our industry partners. So I've got to leave now. So I apologize to miss the end. But I wanted to thank everybody.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Jimmy. Yeah.
Oh no, I was just saying goodbye to Mike, and it's good. So from TUSA side, I just want to say that I will work with Professor Lin and Sean. TUSA will work with them together. So for any company who want to come to Taiwan, either to collaborate with ITRI or to have a joint venture with the local companies. Yeah. So we can help with the supply chain linking up and also with the government incentive. So that's what we can do. But I think the next step is for those who are interested in this forum today, we will set up an individual one-to-one of course, with Joanne being invited, and we could continue with this each of the project in details, and then make it to be a successful cases. Yeah.
Good.
And along with that, we'll bring also some other industry who will be interested. Yeah, Dr. Lin.
Yes. Thank you for Joanne's introductions of Arizona Bios, and especially with the contract service of the medical device manufacturers in Arizona area. We at ITRI in Taiwan not only hosting internal research, but also welcome external partnerships for today's presentations. 3 companies were very interesting, and we also helping with our Minister of Science and Technologies to foster the new startup in this area. And they are in the stage of development and connected to the bigger markets. And I think we will prepare some of the teams through Sean's and Jimmy's later on, maybe connect with Joanne's through your help, look for the entry points in the states, the market, especially in the Western US. All right, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, it's great to know from Arizona's capability, actually. And if I may, I'd like to add a few things from maybe Joanne's early question. In terms of going to Southeast Asia region, some Taiwanese company, especially medical device sector, they are focused on specific segment. For example, one company we engaged was BenQ's Medical. They are very, actually they have been growing to a big one over the last 10 years. They are doing this OR room devices, of course, also including ultrasonic and even oral area, dental area, dialysis. So they are very active in both Greater China, including China, and Southeast Asia, and of course Taiwan. Even over the last 2 years, we have some delegation from, for example, from UK. They even have opportunity to really engage Taiwanese companies such as BenQ to help to really get to the market in the Asia region. So it's really more of a subsector, depends on subsector. So if there are something, we probably can find a company like that. They are active. And also ITRI's team plus many Taiwanese company are very active in Southeast Asia. And we actually, one of the company we work with in Taiwan, they are doing this OCT, and we can find a potential market for them in Southeast Asia. So things like that. So it's really dependent, more of a device type dependent. We can try that. And this is from the market side. As for the innovation side and the early development joint venture, depends on the company size. There are a lot of advantage to join with Taiwanese company, either big or small, or even in the development team. We have company here, work with university professors, innovation center. So basically, you have idea, you have innovation, and then the local team will contribute talent and also a lot of capability, and then even resource. That's from the early development. And if you have innovation, you have resource or not enough resource, like my earlier question would be, there are potential partnership from larger company. They are willing to put in resource and later even for the development for manufacturer. So there are all type of opportunity. Just I think it's good to have this platform to let company come on, and we try to develop that, to try to support that case by case. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Sorry, there's extra things I just want to share with Joanne. Maybe I think today's forum is very useful for both Taiwanese side and the Arizona side. Maybe as far as the long term is concerned, TUSA will be more than happy to work with AZBio on a periodic basis to maybe not experience as a forum, but something more like matchmaking events. So we can so this MOU can be continuous and to benefit both the bioscience in Arizona and Taiwan. So maybe once a year or once every half a year, so on. That we can do some sort of matchmaking, and we work with DBL too. Yeah. BDL, sorry. So,
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
Great. So any other comment, suggestion?
Yes.
John, would you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Shiwan.
Yes. Yeah. I thanks Sean's and Joan's and Jimmy's organization of today's three topics presentations is really close to my area, that really very interesting. And so we do have different groups within ITRI interact with the industrial partners for different development phase of the partners. And so I would connect them together later on for the companies in Taiwan that I know, and also as I mentioned, our teams are also helping academic startups in the early phase that they are looking for partners in the States, that I would refer them to Sean's and maybe get through Joanne's office, and with your help that they can connect it to the partners in that area. So later on, so we will happy to be facilitate the bilateral communications later on. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jen. I would suggest maybe both sides, if they are event, maybe trade show or even seminar, you can share, with each other, and that'd be a good opportunity to travel and to meet. Maybe, Joanne, would you like to invite people to your September event?
So I have a couple of invitations for you. So if you are able to travel to San Diego in June for the Bio International Convention, which I know Taiwan has historically had a very strong presence at. If you are able to do so, I hope you will join us in the Phoenix, Arizona booth, which is booth number 4117. Mayor Gallego will be there with us and will be speaking. And we would very much like for you to be able to meet her in person. If travel is not possible in June, hopefully by September it will be. And there is then the opportunity for you to join us for Arizona Bioscience Week, where we will have a number of programs and investors coming in from across the country. Sean, I think you and I need to talk about who we want to bring in from Silicon Valley when you come over. And so that will be the last week in September. And then as we move into the new year, where we better all be able to travel, is the JP Morgan Healthcare Conference. And on the Sunday afternoon from 4 to 7, I will be hosting a private reception at the Marker Hotel. And I hope that you will all be my guests. So the team knows how to reach us. And we truly are deeply thankful for all of the team's work. And Director Lin, it's great to have both of you here today. It is a truly great honor. And again, thank you to the team in putting this together. It's been a lot of work for your team, and we truly appreciate all of your support.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chiwan, there's a BioAsia every year, right?
Yeah, in July, actually, we are planning to travel to US BIOS in June, right now, and hopefully we can make it. But we did book the booth, and now the plan is undergoing, and hopefully we can visit US BIOS smoothly this year. And we will visit your booth definitely, and say hello in the conference. And so really looking forward to meet in person after 2 years stopping.
Yes. Well, and Chiwan, if you haven't actually made your plane tickets yet,
yes,
it's a 1-hour flight between Arizona and San Diego.
Yes.
So what you might want to think about is if you have an extra couple of days on the beginning of your trip,
yes,
to perhaps make a side trip to Arizona, and we can show you some of the things that are happening here. And then you can, fly back to San Diego and do all of the craziness of bio.
okay.
Don't want to do it after bio because then you'll just be too tired.
All right. Yes. Thank you for the invitations. That I will put that in our agendas for discussions. And actually, it's quite a large groups each year, as you mentioned. Travel from Taiwan is that we definitely would like to see the opportunity to visit your sites in Arizona during the travels. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. So any maybe last comment or a question or a request from Tom and Navid?
I'd say this was very worthwhile. I appreciate you bringing us in. And I'm looking forward to having further conversations.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I think that's it. Thank you very much, everybody, for sharing. And this is exciting. Look forward to further interaction, collaboration.
Right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you,
TUSA
Navid.
will continue to link up everybody. Yeah.
Thank you, Jordan.
And Sylvia, Sylvia, BP IPO, TUSA, and also Director Lin's support. Sylvia show up. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.